Whether devouring their prey among The Walking Dead or in Michael Jackson's Thriller video, zombies dominate pop culture. In popular culture, a zombie is a reanimated corpse with no control over its body movements. The flesh is rotting, rendering them unable to speak, and they have an insatiable appetite for human brains. However, this simple definition fails to provide an understanding of the origin and history of zombies, as a bitter story is hidden behind this entertaining cinematic creature. But the question persists: are zombies real? Unlike many other monsters which largely stem from superstition, religion, and fear, zombies have a basis in reality. Several confirmed cases of zombies have been reported in Haitian voodoo culture. To comprehend the root and main causes of zombies, it is essential to delve into history. The tale of the dead returning to life dates back thousands of years, with the Epic of Gilgamesh being a significant reference. In this Middle Eastern story from 5,000 years ago, an angry god threatens to bring the dead back to life to consume the living. Chinese mythology also contributes to the understanding of zombies through stories like Guangxi, which translates to dancing corpses. The description of Guangxi highlights that despite having a human body, these corpses lack independent thought and a will of their own. In some Chinese mythology, zombies are deceased individuals who, having died far from home, must return to their home village to find eternal peace. The ancient Greeks appear to be the first civilization to instill the fear of the dead. Numerous archaeologists have uncovered ancient graves where skeletons were interred with a stone and other heavy objects. A prevailing hypothesis suggests that these heavy objects were attached to the corpses to prevent the dead from returning to life. However, the root of the word zombie lies in the heart of a continent with a rich and ancient culture, Africa. The term zombie originates from the French Haitian word zombie or the Haitian Creole word zombie. These words and their analogous derivatives in other Caribbean or African languages trace their roots to the voodoo religion and 17th century Haitian folklore. That is when African slaves were brought to the Caribbean islands and spread their religion or voodoo on the island. The definition of a zombie in this religion is similar to its popular definition. A voodoo zombie is a corpse that comes back to life after death using a witch spell. This sorcerer can bring the dead body back to life without its soul, which is the zombie that most of us know. The first real use of the word zombie is in this context. Is a creature called a zombie intertwined with African slaves and their culture and religion? What happened when the zombies appeared? Unfortunately, life as a slave was so hard that death was considered the only way to guarantee their absolute freedom. There was a possibility that the slaves would get fed up with life and commit suicide after enduring hard work and torture for a long time. Slaves were as valuable as the wealth of their masters, and the death of each of them was considered a loss to the master's property. But to prevent the death of the main workforce, what solutions were in front of the masters? Film companies in Hollywood are indebted to African slaves because after arriving in the Caribbean islands, they combined local legends with their religious beliefs. From this alchemical combination was obtained, which became the origin of popular Hollywood cinema. The popular Hollywood character zombie turned into the alchemy that brought billions of dollars to the makers of zombie movies. origin of the first zombie story can be introduced in a short story called Anonymous Painter. This story revolves around a Spanish painter who owned slaves. His slave kept reporting to the police that at night a zombie visited the paintings of his master and his student. However, the white police considered the zombie to be an African superstition and did not take his words seriously. Assuming that this short story is indeed the first encounter with this concept in Western literature. Zombies have undergone a lengthy process of evolution to reach us. The scary creature we know today is not merely an African superstition. During its evolution, Western superstitious beliefs about the return of the dead to life have been intertwined with it. Important literary works of the zombie subgenre, from the writings of Richard Matheson to H.P. Lovecraft and Mary Shelley, were later adapted into films, thereby introducing zombies to cinema. The first American zombie film, titled White Zombie, was made and released in 1932. The film tells the story of a woman who is poisoned by her lover and brought back from the dead to become a zombie. This movie was based on the novel Magic Island, written by William Serbach.
The sinister power behind the White Zombie.
George Romero's film, Night of the Living Dead, is considered the film from which all modern movies about zombies take root. In those years, the film gained worldwide fame and recognition. In this movie, radiation from a crashed satellite revives the dead, and they become eager to eat human flesh. According to many movie experts, George Romero is the father of the modern zombie, having written and made more films about zombies than anyone else in history. These types of films were not limited to popular cinema and the box office. They also gained recognition at prestigious international festivals like Cannes. One such example is the movie Colin, 2009, with a budget of $17 and an 18-month production period. Upon its release, the film attracted audience acclaim and won the Cannes Award. The story of the movie revolves around the life of a zombie in London. The spread of horror subgenre thrillers, namely zombies, has fueled the notion of zombie existence. What began as mere chatter among the audience has transformed into widespread beliefs that they are everywhere. In many cultures around the world, there exists a fear that the dead can come back to walk among the living. Sometimes these entities are merely tricksters who enjoy scaring us. In other cases, they are vengeful individuals who have been mistreated in life and seek revenge, such as a mother who died in childbirth. There is hardly any place in the world where you will not find such beliefs. The loss of our independence and the ability to control our bodies and minds. The title of Rotten Corpses is very fitting for introducing these monsters, because that is literally what they do to humans. Zombies break us apart into one big undifferentiated group, just like the Borg in Star Trek. Unlike vampires, often depicted as charming, young, superhuman beings, or more recently as overly emotional teenagers, zombies are almost always cursed. Zombies cannot love, laugh, or live freely. They've gone viral like LOL Cats videos, and as things go viral, they move fast. The faster our lives, communication, transportation, and technology, the faster the threats are experienced. Perhaps the basic question for you is whether zombies are real or not. Some say that scientists have discovered and produced bacteria, viruses, and parasites with zombie-making properties. Stem cell research and nanotechnology offer real possibilities for tissue regeneration. There is also considerable debate about the existence of zombies' neurotoxins, and an entire branch of pharmacology is devoted to determining whether such compounds can be found in nature. However, the existence of zombies in the sense seen in the movies seems unlikely. In the digital age, the way people interact with each other has fundamentally changed. Being immersed in smartphones and our second life in virtual worlds offers novel and existing experiences. But it also destroys our spiritual and material human dimensions. The impact of technology on society is not new, but has certainly accelerated in the last 20 years. Some say that with the recent high death tolls, one has to wonder if it could all be a sign of an impending zombie apocalypse. The Zombie Survival Guide is a humorous manual for dealing with the zombie outbreak, written by Max Brooks and published in 2003. It provides detailed explanations of how a zombie works and how to kill one in the event of an outbreak. This guide includes step-by-step plans for the average person to use. The guide was inspired by Brooks' childhood obsession with zombies, which began after watching the 1943 film Revenge of the Zombies. Even the CDC released its own medical survival guide for living in a zombie apocalypse in 2011. Many enthusiasts dream of a zombie apocalypse and have created survival guides and immersive experiences to see if they would survive. This fascinating topic will continue to capture people's attention until there is scientific proof of the possibilities of zombies. Returning to our initial words, the solution of slave owners in dealing with the suicide of slaves was unfortunate. Life as a slave was so hard that only through death was freedom possible. Slave owners, aware of this issue, had to draw a detailed plan to keep their slaves alive. They eventually included to send a witch among the slaves, scaring them with a legend of becoming zombies and threatening them that death is useless. Even after death, their bodies would return and continue forced labor forever. Zombies, in this context, were a product of exploiting superpowers for greater profit, turning utilitarianism into an exciting yet frightening entertainment in today's world. The horror genre is one of the prominent and important genres of Hollywood cinema, with an undeniable affinity for apocalypse or post-apocalyptic cinema. Vampires, monsters, giant monsters, ghosts, evil spirits, goblins, demons, and biological monsters like Frankenstein all hail from the world of the supernatural, goblins, and demons. According to researchers, horror movies have a lasting anxiety effect on people years after watching them. Watching a scary movie or TV show can leave a sense of terror in some people even years later. About 220 participants completed a questionnaire reflecting on their fears experiences from mass media in childhood. before age 13, and then in adolescence and adulthood. These tests included a group media show that made the person so anxious and terrified that the emotional effects remained. After the show ended, about 165 people experienced fear as children and 128 experienced fear as adults. For children, supernatural monsters like zombies or aliens were the main source of fear. In terms of persistence, 37% said the lasting effects of a childhood fear persisted years after the experience, affecting normal behaviors such as sleeping and eating. Many suffered from anxiety or fear of death. Zombies represent all that is ambiguous about the human condition. In simple terms, zombies or any dangerous creatures often arise from real human fears toward the unknown and chaotic forces of the world. The reality of the existence of zombies and such creatures is practically impossible.